Hi guys, sorry about the interruption to the broadcast there. The gentleman there decided that he thought I was part of the disabled bay. They're just pointing out that he's not a disabled bay at all and he must be blind. Anyway, to conclude today's programme, concluding that little break in the end, I'm sorry about that. The point that I'm trying to make today is that Scotland is an exploitation colony and we have a neighbour which has no constitution, which can make up rules to suit itself, which has created a Supreme Court which it claims is supreme to our court, which it isn't. And it's basically a case of who you believe. In a country which has no constitution, which has nothing written down which says what it can and cannot do, it can do whatever the hell it likes. And that is exactly what England does with Scotland all the time. Scotland does have a little power, but it's power which has been devolved from the Westminster Parliament. And so although Holyrood runs Scotland at a local level, it has, according to Westminster, no power over its own constitution. Our documents, our national documents, such as the Claim of Right, tell us that we, the people who live here, have sovereignty. Sovereignty over the Queen, sovereignty over Westminster. And it is a case of basically who you believe. Scotland, with its declaration of Arbroath and with its Claim of Right from last year, passed in Westminster, it's a piece of British legislation which says that the people of Scotland are sovereign. And that means that it doesn't matter how supreme a court is in England, it has no power to prevent us from leaving the Union. The Union itself has been debunked. It's not a union. It is a colony. We are a colony. This is not a union. If it was a union, we would have equal rights. We would have equal representation in Parliament. We would have an equal number of MPs to England and an equal number of MPs to Wales, an equal number of MPs to Northern Ireland. But it's not a union. If it were a union, it would be like the European Union, where everybody has the right amount of representation and has a commissioner who talks on behalf of their country. The United Kingdom is a kingdom. It is a kingdom ruled by a ruler who isn't even sovereign, where her own parliament is sovereign above the Queen. And this parliament claims to be sovereign over Scotland as well, but it's not, because in that parliament they accepted the Claim of Right. And all the SNP and the rest of us have to do is assert our right under the terms of the Claim of Right, which is a written founding document of Scotland, which defends Scottish people's rights to decide what they want to do. No Queen, no British government or any other government on the planet can tell us when and when we cannot have a vote on independence. We need no Section 30 orders whatsoever. And if it's still denied, we could hold a referendum tomorrow. We could hold a referendum as part of a general election. We could hold a referendum as part of a Scottish Holyrood election. Or we could just stage a referendum of our own and stuff it. We decide what we want to do. I think Angus MacNeil put it correctly last night. Independence is not given to you. It's taken, because the British government is never going to give us independence. They are going to fight it tooth and nail to the bitter end. The only way for us to take our independence is by taking our rights, which are defended by a constitutional document which is accepted by the so-called sovereign Westminster government. That sovereign Westminster government actually accepts that Scottish people are sovereign, and their parliament has no sway whatsoever over what we do. And as long as people in Scotland understand that basically a constitutionalist mess next door to us, which makes up the rules to suit political expediency at the time, is not the master of Scotland. Scotland has always had the right to walk away, just like a battered wife has the right to leave her abuser. They have no control over you. Once you leave, you have gone. You vote with your feet. And if people in Scotland realise that, then we wouldn't be sitting around fretting, waiting for things to happen. But one thing's for certain, Nicola Sturgeon, despite what anybody says about her, if she allows herself to be forced to jump now, before Brexit has happened, and then Brexit doesn't happen, then it's going to look very stupid for all of us. Tying Scottish independence to Brexit is a mistake. Brexit has changed the dynamics and forced people who wouldn't normally go for independence to now consider it. But now it's up to us, as Angus said the other night in the interview, to make the positive case for independence. The negative case has been made for us by the Conservative Party and their Brexit plans. The positive case now has to be made by us, and that is the next phase of what we have to do. So it's up to us now to stop sitting on our hands and telling Nicola Sturgeon to move, but to start planning for the campaign ahead, which will be necessary. If we are to raise 52% up to 75%, which is pretty much where we want it to be, we can do it. We did it in 2014. We gained 17% in 2 years by just sheer bloody hard work and talking to people and explaining the positives. And believe me, people will be a lot happier to know that their pension will be paid in Scottish pounds, which will be worth something, rather than being paid in the pathetic 94-cent pound that is coming with a hard no-deal Brexit. That's it for today. I'll be back again tomorrow, hopefully without ignorant old guys banging on the window thinking that I'm sitting in a disabled bay, which I'm not, interrupting the show. There's always one, but that's the danger of broadcasting from a car park in a public place. I'll see you all later. Bye bye for now.